Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you for joining me, Jag Singh, for another dosage of Positive Minds on the Seek channel. Positive Minds is a program on which I like to bring inspirational and informative people who give us some great advice and inspiration on what they're doing out there and give us tips on how we can, better our lives and those around us. I am also a writer, and I recently published my book on Amazon called Unbreakable, which is based on my gruesome upbringing during the 1970s and as a young Sikh family. So you can download that on Amazon. And also for constant motivation, you may follow me on Twitter at jagsing_I_can. Okay, today's guest is an amazing lady who has proved at such a young age you can go and achieve your dreams. You can go out there and grab what you want. And I'd like to introduce you guys to Ruby Bukhari. Ruby, thank you so much for joining us today on Positive Minds.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And guys, this young lady has got so much to tell us about inspiration and motivation, and how she's going a pathway and totally abolishing all her goals. Okay, so Ruby, let's start from the top. You're 26 years old, and you are the editor of a magazine called Ruthless. Okay, so as editor, how did it start? What inspired you to become an editor at such a young age, Ruby?
Well, I used to be the editor-in-chief of a magazine called Disorder, and it's a music-based magazine for upcoming bands, essentially, a very niche market, but it was one of the biggest music magazines of its time. And whilst I was there, so my journey began there as an intern, and I progressed into the editor's role. I saw a lot of methods that were used in terms of hiring, how the directors spoke to the interns, to the editors, and all of these issues that I saw literally inspired me to create Ruthless magazine. It was because of also there's a discrimination that I saw that, I mean, I don't like the word BAME. I think it categorizes all of us into one niche category, but the way that the BAME staff was treated, essentially. And I thought, this is not the way that I want to lead a company. This is not the way I want my legacy, essentially, to stand. So I created Ruthless to speak about these issues and for us to have a company with morals and ethics at the core of it.
Excellent, excellent. I mean, why editor? What inspired you to become an editor? You must have had this kind of like goal or dream.
No, I fell into journalism completely. I used to write actually for Asian World, I think it's called Asian World newspaper, when I was about 16.
Yes, it is Asian World newspaper. I've written for them as well. Yep, yep, yep.
And I used to interview like Punjabi singers. Really loved that. And then I love photography, so I thought I just got I booked a studio, started doing loads of interviews like that, and then I thought, you know what? Let me see if I can do a bit more of this writing stuff. So whilst I was at uni, I actually studied fashion design in my first year. Hated it, by the way. And whilst I was there, I started writing for Disorder. And then I really fell in love with the industry. I fell in love with the fact that you can create something magical on paper and it can last forever if you want. And that's my journey there. And then I thought, you know what? I'm really ambitious as a person as well. I was like, if I can be the fashion editor, why can't I just be an editor?
Yeah.
And then that's been the root of it all. It's blind ambition as well. And then when I was creating Ruthless, I thought, this is my chance and my opportunity to stamp something, to create an identity. But also, I mean, with Ruthless, it's a place where marginalized communities and anyone really can come together, and to be able to shape that and protect that is a privilege and an honor as well. So that's the reason for being an editor too.
Excellent, excellent, thank you. And Ruby, is it true that while you studying your degree, you was working, when you said that previous job you was doing as an editor, you was doing that while you were studying at the same time?
Yeah. So in my first year of uni, um, I became the fashion editor, and by the end of that same year, I became the editor in chief of that magazine. It took me a year, but it was so. I remember the first time I stepped into the building, and I sat down for my interview, and I thought, what if I became the editor of this place? And I set my mind, and I thought, I'm going to do this. And in my first year of uni, I became the editor, and then balancing uni and balancing being a full-time position was really crazy, but it was worth it, definitely worth it.
Excellent, excellent. So clearly, Ruby, you have some, by what you just told me there, you have some great time management skills. I can
Yeah.
just imagine what kind of time management skills you've got, and that is important when obviously you're going for your goals. You know, I mean, you've got the degree going on, you've got the editor job going on, and but I like the fact also we just said back there was that you liked journalism, you liked
Mhm.
photography, and you found your two passions, and the way you joined them together was excellent, brilliant, excellent. Ruby, so you've already touched on it, but what is the main theme of the Ruthless magazine, please?
Well, Ruthless, it's both. I mean, our slogan is "Personal is political." At the end of the day, I mean, there's magazines and you see them as either fashion or music, or you see them as entertainment. But we're multi-diverse people. We have very several interests. Everyone does. So Ruthless is one company that encompasses everything. You know, we speak about elections, then we speak about music festivals, we speak about everything from identity crisis to feminism, and these are all topics and issues sometimes that people are afraid to touch upon. But we're there. We will speak about it because it exists, and we're going to support those who read us and those who don't read us as well. And it's also the identity of Ruthless is to essentially to give the young, and then also with Ruthless, which is the aim of us, is to give the young creatives in the industry a platform. So we're working very closely with people from different aspects, different organizations, coming together with them to give the young creatives, that could be stylists and photographers, journalists, a leg up. I mean, one of the key things that I'm really excited about is the fact that we're going to start a mentoring scheme, and that's it essentially shows the essence of Ruthless. It's there to support and nurture anyone wanting to enter the creative industry, because it is a very sharky industry. I have to be honest with you. You know, I've had people steal my ideas. I've had people um, throw me off photography sets just because I suggested something. And at the end of the day, I don't want those things to happen to the younger generation.
Excellent, excellent. Like what you said there, Ruby, what comes to mind is that a great motivator once said that young people, creatives, you know, they come out of new stuff, and you know, sometimes they show it to people whether you've written a song or got a book out or got a new art, and you know, you're gonna face rejection, okay? And what you're telling me there about Ruthless is that Ruthless is a platform, okay, that where people can have a chance to come
Yeah,
forward with their creative mind, and you know, say, look, hell, hey, world, here I am, and because you're been through the rejection part and obviously the challenges, you're at Ruthless is out there saying that, you know, well, come to us, and you know, we'll show the world what you got. And everyone out there who's writing a book or has come out with a new art, a picture, a portrait, or whatever, you've written a song, or you're going to do something in your life, and you take it forward, and you contact publishers or you contact agencies, and yeah, they tell you you're not good enough. Yeah, you're not good
mm,
enough. You know, my advice to those people, and Ruby, I'm sure you'd agree, is keep showing your work to
yeah,
publishers, keep showing your people to your stuff to agencies, and like I said, contact Ruthless and they'll put it up for you. But one day, someone will turn around and like what you bring to the table. Okay, and that's from
absolutely.
Positive Minds with Jag Singh. Okay, just keep showing. Whatever happens, do not give up. Keep going forward. Just like Ruby here. Ruby could have given up many times, eh, Ruby? Was it times when you thought, right, you know, this is too much, I've had
Oh,
enough?
absolutely. Absolutely. So when I left the magazine, I didn't think, you know what? Let me build a business plan. Let me build a social media plan or a financial plan. I thought, screw this. I'm gonna do it myself. I can do it. I have all the capability. And then didn't think about the logistics of it. And then for like a year, I really struggled. I mean, I had to take up jobs in the hospitality industry. I was teaching at a university. all the meantime trying to figure out what I wanted to do with Ruthless. Um, and there were absolute times where, like, I should have been editing, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go and watch TV or do something non-productive. But absolutely, it's an uphill battle. And now at this point in my life, I've figured out the balance between work and play, which is a very difficult balance, I think,
Yes.
for
Yes.
every individual. But yeah, there was definitely some moments where I wanted to throw in the towel. But then, I look at the last year and a half, and I think about everything we've accomplished and the amount of positive feedback we've had. And I think it's worth it. And I can't wait to see, how much more the community gets involved.
Excellent, excellent. Guys, have just joined us. You're watching Positive Minds on the Seek channel with me, Jag Singh, and today I have with me Ruby Bukhari, who is the editor of the UK magazine, Ruthless magazine. Okay, so you guys got the internet, you can find out all about Ruby. But I wanted to bring Ruby on the show because this girl's doing so much, and she's such a great, talented editor, bringing out new creators into the world. Those people who think, I've designed a new type of clothing. I've written a new book. Ruthless magazine is there for you. They want to see your stuff, okay, and they'll get it out to the world too. Now, Ruby, not only are you at the moment the editor of Ruthless, and you're taking control of that, and like you say, your time management skills are excellent, but I also understand that you're a trustee for a charity called
Yeah.
South Asian Heritage. Is that right?
Yeah, South Asian heritage, yeah.
Yeah, tell me more about it, please.
Well, so South Asian Heritage Month actually began this year during the lockdown. It's founded by Jasper Singh and Benita Kane. And I actually, the way that I got involved with the foundation is I saw an advert on Twitter, and I thought, they wanted people to organize programs for the youth. And I thought, I can do this. I have a very good connection with a lot of community members, specifically tailoring towards the youth. And my friends actually forwarded this to me too. So then I had a really long chat with Benita. And then about a month before the festival began, I joined the team, and I pretty much took over. I don't know how it happened, but it did. And I became the events coordinator for the festival. And I remember in the beginning of the festival, we had like 5 events. And I thought, nope, that's not going to cut it. We're speaking about South Asian heritage. It's such a broad topic, and there's so much that we can talk about. We can talk about our history, our contributions, music, fashion, art, our food. If we start talking about food, we'll be here all day. So, by the end of the 2.5 weeks, I planned and collaborated with other members of the community about 60 events, official events on our calendar. But unofficially, we had over 150 events in 1 month during the lockdown. And by the end of it, we did the statistics, and we saw how many people tuned in and how much engagement we had. We had
Sorry, Ruby, was
83
this done on Zoom? Was it these seminars? Were they done on the internet? Yeah.
Zoom, YouTube, everything was done online. Yeah, nothing could happen obviously in real life.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
was done online. But we had 83 million engagements worldwide,
Wow.
and 30
Wow.
million people tuned in. That's amazing. And it just goes to show that there is absolutely a need for us to speak about our heritage, and for a need to speak about the unique aspects of our culture. And especially, being British South Asian is it's a completely different category. We you put on RDB, or you put on all the Bhangra tunes that we know, and we it's a very it's how you categorize being British South Asian. And even the language you use, and the memes that you see on the internet now, they're tailored towards British South Asians. We're the only ones who will get those. So we
Yeah.
definitely need to celebrate that and speak upon that.
Excellent. Excellent. So what I like about South Asian Heritage, what you said there, Ruby, is that your charity is a way of people expressing the South Asian heritage of what we are, what we do, what we eat, how we react. I mean, what kind of topics would you say very quickly that you've covered that have, yeah, you've covered that topic while you're doing the Zoom with the through the charity, and it's really touched your heart.
Um, I mean, topics such as well, I was talking, we had this incredible panel on colorism, and I actually hosted that panel. And I remember when the panel discussion ended, my friend called me straight away who was watching, and both of us were just in awe of the conversation we just witnessed. It was so much learning about actually, like I'm light skinned, so I don't. You and I can never really understand what our brothers and sisters, our fellow siblings go through who are of darker skinned, especially when we're bombarded by so much images of lighter skinned people depicting that's what beauty is, and that was a topic that really touched me, and I didn't realize until we had that discussion how much there is a need for us to speak about this and how much it truly affects people as well. That's a conversation that will probably last in my mind forever. But definitely one of the top topics.
Ruby, do you love what you do? I mean, you do
Oh, absolutely.
magazine, charity work. Tell me, do you see? You have to have some sort of passion to do what you're doing in order to keep on going forward. Do you love it?
Oh, absolutely. I love what I do. I couldn't do anything else. If you put me in a job, in a field, in a like office with 60 people, putting data into a computer, I could not handle it. I would walk out on the first day.
Yeah, I understand that. While I was pursuing my goals, like you said before, when you was pursuing your goals, you worked in the hospital industry. You have to do those kind of things sometimes to make ends meet. But obviously that does pays the mortgage, gets your food on the table. But I always had this thing in the back of my head that that I wanted to write a book. I wanted to have a TV show, and I was doing that on the side. Okay, like you said, I wasn't sitting there watching the TV
Yeah.
marathon, nothing. Well, when I wasn't working, I was either taking care of the kids. I'm grown up now. I was either taking care of the kids, or when they were obviously asleep or whatever, I was doing my thing on the side. Building a bit of an empire like you have. It's amazing what you've created over the years. Um, how do you manage? I mean, you got you got the magazine going on, right? Which is hard enough, right? It's hard enough to be an editor of a magazine and get all the information that you got to publish, but also you do the charity. How do you manage? What's your secret, Ruby? Tell us.
Number one is I treat myself with kindness. I don't push myself to the brink of exhaustion anymore. I used to do that, and that's actually anti-productive because what you'll do is you crash for a couple of days, and what I do is I know what my limits are now. So I schedule everything on a Sunday, everything that I need to do, and I use all the resources that I have. I use Trello, which is great for time management skills. And I saw this really great quote where it was, give yourselves 3 tasks to do every day. They can be big, small, whatever you want, but 3 tasks to do. And if you don't feel like doing bigger tasks, do 3 tiny tasks. And if you once you tick those off, you'll feel really positive and you'll be in a really positive space to do more things. So every day I give myself 3 tasks, and when I do anything else, it's a bonus. And I feel
Excellent.
like once I start ticking off really good things, um, I'm just in a roll. And then also Mondays are my best friend. If your Monday starts off right, the rest of your week is going to start off right. So I always do something really monumental on a Monday or really positive on a Monday, and then the rest of the week just flows in.
Excellent, superb, superb. That's great advice, Ruby. Thank you, because there you go, guys. 3 tasks, okay? Doesn't matter how big they are or small they are, every day, okay? Because how do you move a mountain, okay? I always say to my kids, how do you move a mountain? They said, Dad, you can't. I said, you can. All you got to do is one rock at a time. So those small things you're talking about there, Ruby, doing it, they are contributing towards the individual. I mean, if sometimes it could be something even like hugging your family, sitting down with family, watching a movie, or sometimes it can be, clean that wardrobe that you keep saying you're not going to clean. But after
Yeah,
you've cleaned it or you've done it, you sit there and you think, and you look at it and you think, yeah, I'm glad I did that. Okay,
yeah,
sometimes a question arises in your head, God, how long did it take me to do that? And it's such a simple task. But that method you're saying there, Ruby, is excellent. Just write down 3 things every day that you need, that you think you can do, and get them done. And the feel good factor for that will be tremendous, like Ruby's saying over there. Okay, so Ruby, if someone listening out there now is thinking that I want to start my own internet magazine. I want to do what Ruby's doing with Ruthless. I want to go down that road because I like journalism, or I like photography, and I like meeting with people. What would your advice be to that individual, please?
Go for it. Definitely go for it. If you believe that you have something to say and you want other people to hear it, I guarantee you there's going to be people that resonate with it. Um, and definitely go for it. Work hard, and use every single resource that you have. Social media is your best friend. Use it, and it's so easy to build websites right now. Um, I remember building websites on WordPress, and it's a headache versus Wix now. I was actually like literally before we had this conversation, I was building South Asian Heritage Month's website, and I'm using Wix right now. It's so simple. YouTube is also your best friend. Anything that you need to figure out in terms of logistics, do that. But reach out to people in your community. If you want to get stronger at your writing skills or editing skills, ask people, can they mentor you? Ask people, can you read through this? Do not be shy. If you're shy, you're not going to get anywhere. And the biggest lesson I've learned through my career is if you don't ask, you won't get.
That is so,
Reach
so true.
So reach out to people, network as well. If, say for instance, if you want to create something, a zine or a magazine, or do an online panel discussion, reach out to people who are established or are establishing themselves and connect with them. And maybe, you can build something together. If it's a topic that's very broad, say for instance, mental health, reach out to the community mental health organizations. They would love to more people to get involved.
Excellent, excellent. That's great advice, Ruby. And also, Ruby, when I spoke to you on the phone the other day, you also brought us something really good, which I think we need to tell the people out there, is that if there are artists out there who need a funding, who need sponsorship, what is the best advice you can give them? If someone wants to start a project and they need some support, and it's a creative, what is your advice to them?
Well, crowdfunding is super simple now. There's crowdfunding at UK that you can create a little page about yourself with a video. But there's grants that your local boroughs and your local councils are offering. They may be smaller ones at first, like £1,000 to £3,000, but for a young business, that's a lifeline. So reach out to your local boroughs, reach out to your MPs and your councillors. They've been elected for a reason, and small businesses are part of supporting small businesses is part of those reasons. And then there's Arts Council fundings as well. There's a new Arts Council funding actually that's been released recently where it's just for young creatives. And if you speak to the Arts Council, they can help you by giving you an advisor, someone that can run through the application form with you. It can be a little daunting. There's about 22 different questions on there, so it'll take you some time, but they can run you through it. And then there's a few other grants as well. National Heritage Lottery, National Lottery Fund. These are all different individual ones, but there's younger organizations dropping grants all the time, like Creative Debuts. They do £500 grants, which is also a small part of money just to get you going. Yeah, Google it, Instagram, and even just type in on Google funding available in whatever area you are, and you will see all of it pop up.
Excellent, excellent. So some great advice that you've given us there, Ruby. First of all, earlier on, you spoke about creating talents. Okay, so we've got YouTube out there. Okay, and if you want to start your own magazine, you want to write your own book. I mean, I remember, and the support you're talking about as well, Ruby. There's people out there who like to mentor people who have a creative and want to make something out of it. I mean, I couldn't read and write until I was 13, and I still had a dream about writing a book. And as you said as well, another point you made was if you don't ask, you don't get. So what I did
Yeah.
was I contacted a great writer, James Minter, and he said he'll mentor me, and he helped me, and he helped me create my book. I mean, if I hadn't asked, I wouldn't have got. And
Yeah.
also back to the local council for the support they were just talking about. I didn't know such grants existed, and I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm saying this, Ruby. When I say this, I'm saying this for a lot of people listening out there. That so there's someone out there who wants to start a project or wants to do something. They think, we haven't got the funding. I can't follow my passion. And what you told me on the phone is what you just said right now. Is that contact your local council. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're creating something and you want to do something, a project, a seminar, or whatever, contact your local council because it's all about community. It's all about you're doing something positive, and if you don't ask, you don't get, as Ruby said there. Yeah, so get on the internet, contact your local council, tell them about your project. Okay, speak to them about it. Don't just sit there and say to yourself, I want to do this, but I haven't got the funding. And I spoke to some guy the other day who's planting 550 trees to in remembrance of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's birthday. Now, to do that in Leeds is a big task, planting all the trees and everything. But all he did was what you just said there, Ruby. He walked into the local council and said, I'm a Sikh, I want to grow 550 trees in the name of Guru Nanak's 550th birthday. And they said, we'll support you. And to me, that is showing that, okay, I understand, Ruby. Now, you can't sit there and say you haven't had challenges. Okay, you go somewhere and they say, we'll get back to you. You get that. I mean, how have you dealt with the challenges you've had, Ruby?
Oh, I don't take no for an answer. I don't know that word in my vocabulary. Absolutely not. Like, if I want to get something done, I will call someone every day and just be like, have you thought about this decision? And eventually that no will turn to a yes. But I think it's also, be prepared, as thoroughly prepared as you can possibly be. Give the best pitch of your life. Make sure you've got every fact and figure. If they say no, it's a loss at them, not at you. You've given them something that's absolutely magnificent. But yeah, and also, like, in terms of, say, for instance, if you don't get a pot of funding, make sure you have backup plans. Make sure you don't let it affect your confidence as well. Hearing rejection is a creative's rite of passage. It's
excellent.
So you can't let it get it over. Yeah.
Superb. Thank you, Ruby. Listen, I could go on talking to you forever, right? I'm sure the people out there can listen to you forever because you're such a positive vibe. But I would like to say thank you so much for coming on Positive Minds today, and good luck with Ruthless. Good luck with the South Asian heritage, and I wish you all the best, Ruby. And you know what? I will be in touch soon again. I'm sure you'll be on air again soon. Thank you, Ruby.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so there you go. My guest today is living evidence of the fact that if you truly want to achieve your goal, okay, persistence and hard work is the key. Keep moving forward, okay? And don't look back and don't take no for an answer, okay? If one person says no, go to someone else and just keep moving forward. And if you believe in yourself and work hard, you will get there. I'd like to thank you all for joining me today on Positive Minds on the Seek channel. And until the next time, keep yourself inspired and keep moving forward. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.